Okay, right underneath an airport here. Well, underneath an airplane. Let's see here. Need to wide lens, and I don't know why it won't flip around. Okay, so today, kind of wanted to go check out something. It's a nice day. I've got the day off. Kind of got my stuff done for the day a little bit early, so I figured I'd go ahead and check out a spot. I wasn't feeling very good earlier, so I did a little bit of research on something that was, fairly close by where I lived, and I found this cool little piece of history over here. And as you guys will see, it is a cemetery. Hopefully this new microphone is doing me justice here with this mic and all the people, or excuse me, the wind and all the people driving by. So we'll be crossing over the street here. Now, I can't exactly tell if I'm going to be able to get in there or not. It seems pretty well just like closed off. So I'm going to walk up to it and kind of walk around and just take a quick look, which is weird because I didn't remember seeing this fence here, but we'll go ahead and take a look here, and I'll read this sign for everybody, and we'll make do with what we have. So the sign reads, prior to the Civil War, this rich river bottom land was known for its cotton, corn, and sugar cane crops and sugar mill. With the emancipation of slaves in 1865, area plantation owners struggled to work the fields and mill. In 1878, landowners L.A. Ellis and E.H. Cunningham negotiated a lease with the state of Texas to open a private prison, leasing convicts for labor. 5 years later, the state gained control over the prison and the inmates. Sugar trade thrived here, and in 1908, I.H. Kempner and W.T. Elridge brought the small town of Sugarland, created the Imperial Sugar Company and a stable company, town, and workforce. Also in 1908, the state of Texas purchased 5,235 acres of adjoining land and started the Imperial State Prison Farm. With more than 400 inmates, it was one of Texas's first state-run prisons, once dubbed the Hellhole on the Brazos. This and other Texas prisons became notorious for deplorable inmate treatment and living conditions before the public outcry forced reforms in 1912. The cemetery has 31 marked graves of inmates and guards dating 1912 to 1943, some with graphic descriptions of their Huntsville prison unit or in prisoners' hometowns. Later called the Central State Prison Farm and then Central Unit, the prison farm operated here until 2011 when the state sold part of its land for a new housing development. The city of Sugarland purchased 65 acres, including the cemetery, for parkland and surrounded by prisoner-made bricks. Stands in the center of the cemetery. The gate and some of the sections of the fence are original. Interesting. So, now what I don't understand is why this is all fenced off like this. I don't know if there's a point of entry. But, if they're seeking to preserve it, I understand why it's all fenced off. That's kind of an unfortunate part of the history, especially when it relates to how a lot of prisoners were treated. The slave state didn't really end for a long time if you consider how awful the conditions that these people were put through, oftentimes were. And albeit, some of them were criminals, genuinely. Even then, I don't think some of the abuses that have happened in a lot of these places are really worth, you know, the suffering. That being said, it definitely makes for some interesting history here. Yeah, I'm really confused. I figured, oh, maybe on the other side? I don't know. So we'll just go ahead and walk around it here. So all this land here must have previously been used for crops, I'm guessing. And I mean, it's very, very moist, fertile soil, so I understand why. I guess they just couldn't get the workers to do what they needed. And I mean, I think that's kind of the similar story with some of the things that happened at the Fort Bend Museum. Some of the details that were mentioned there about how, you know, in 1808, slave trade with Africa specifically was banned at that point in time. So a lot of the slaves that were kept at that point were really just either bred or they were traded on the black market. So that kind of goes to show how, you know, willing people were, you know, how willing people were to make, you know, slavery an ongoing item. So I'll go ahead and see if that gate is something that I could open because, oh, here we go. Another aircraft. ADHD moment. I think that's a Citation 4. I could be wrong. Pretty plane. Very pretty. Oh, we got over here, we got some stuff that was just left over here. Oh. Go ahead and check that out real quick. You know, I should have put on my boots. I have them in the car, but I wasn't really sure what it was going to look like over here, and it seemed a little bit more open, but it's not too bad. Oh, look at that. That's just some old parking signs or something like that. They're just dumped over here. Wild. I don't know why people dump stuff like this. It's kind of a waste if you think about it. But that's all right. Something for us to go check out. We'll come back over here. Really nice day today. So I just couldn't, you know, I was planning on maybe coming out earlier, but it actually worked out for the better because this place is closed in quotation marks. Best way that you could describe it. It's mostly keeping the camera on the cemetery here. I mean, just for perspective, I mean, you can see pretty far out here. You know, this is a pretty big plot of land. Now, something that this that placard had mentioned was the central unit. Apparently, that building is still around here. I was researching it a little bit, but I couldn't find exactly where it was, so I might have to go take a little stroll through Google Earth and see where it's at. Yep, okay, so that's all locked up. So I'm going to respect that. We'll just keep recording it for a second, and you know, yeah, that's kind of a shame. I didn't think that this was all gated off like that. There's three fences here. Huh. I wonder if maybe some vandalism happened or what. I don't understand why they have this all gated off. Or maybe the ghosts here are particularly aggressive. So it looks like there's like a brick structure in the center, which makes sense. That's kind of what the thing was saying. I've also got a weird feeling that there's no way that these are all of the graves. I'm sure there's probably some unmarked stuff just in this area. And realistically, the likelihood that there's more than just, you know, that is pretty high. Very interesting little area over here, though. Maybe we'll go back over to the tree line and see if there's anything interesting up in that. So it seems like there's like a little gulch thing that kind of runs through it, and then I don't know. I'll just wander around for a second. You guys can see way out there. Change the zoom here. That building, the one that my finger just blurred out, that building right there is the old sugar mill. So that's something else that I was talking about here. Let's see, let's get a better look at this. That's the old cemetery right there. I think it really goes to show, like, you know, people can be pretty bad to each other, but it's important that we remember that we can also be really good to each other. I think there's a lot of good in this world, and it's worth taking note of. But that doesn't mean that we need to get rid of the history either, because it sits there as a constant reminder of, you know, what can go better, really, lest we destroy all of that history. And really, that's probably what they're doing with all of this fencing here, is that they're really just trying to make sure that that's, you know, still something that's an experience, a livable experience, something that everybody else can see. So we'll go ahead and start wandering around over here for a bit. Just checking all of this out. Mind your footing. Make sure we're not walking into anything poisonous. That looks like a lot of interesting stuff. Let's see here. I don't think that's not poison ivy. It might be poison oak, though. I cannot tell. If that is, I don't think it is. It's got, some of those have 4 leaves on it, or 5 leaves. So, convergent evolution. Sometimes different plants try to make themselves look like something. Or like how there's some flies that have the same patterns as bees do. I call them bumblebutts. At least I got my long socks on. Kind of avoid some of it, but not as helpful as having proper boots. Sort of wandering around this spot here. I think, oh, there's an old board. Some bugs underneath there. I'm just wandering at this point. Oh, here we go. There's something else, a little interesting land feature. I kind of wonder if there was something that was here in the middle of all these trees, because this is like clearly some sort of an embankment. It doesn't look natural. It looks man-made, and just looks like it's been like grown over. And I mean, these trees are incredibly out of place. Ooh. Oh, shit. Sorry, ants. They're mad. Excuse my French. Trying to keep this family friendly, but apparently I'm stepping on anthills. Poor guys. They're probably not happy. You guys can't really see very good with the sun in your face, huh? Oh, I wonder. Maybe we take a little trip to Google Maps and see if there was maybe something here previously that had maybe more recently been demolished. I mean, there's wooden planks here. There's a bunch of random, like, construction materials. They don't look incredibly old, but they've definitely been here for a little bit. So it just begs the question, what used to be here? Walk around the whole of this and answer some questions. I'll pull up my socks a little bit more. Start getting into some more interesting stuff here. Just getting a little bit deeper on the height of the grass. I don't want to. Oh yeah, there's a spider there. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff over here. I don't know if this is like a area snakes might be at, so always be careful. Always wear boots when you're doing stuff like this. You never know. Like, this isn't super deep, but I mean, a snake could hide in that pretty easily. And also, I have found, especially here in Houston, man, you can roll your ankle on stuff so easily. There's like random potholes and they get covered up quick because of how, I mean, look at this. Just all of this stuff right here, that's all fluff. That goes down. Like, that could totally just be covering a pothole. Very unfortunate. Yeah, I'd really love to actually go up in there, but I just don't. I'm not confident in my shoes. If I had my boots on, I would, but some pretty trees over here too. I wonder if I had interviewed any of the people coming by here over at all, if they ever seen anything happen over here. I don't want to step on that guy's house. All these mosquito hawks too, all over the picking place. Well, I think that might be about a wrap for me being out here. I might go ahead and add a segment onto this where I take a look at some of the history of this location and review this footage as well. See if anything spooky happened. Yeah, see, just then I felt something on my foot that I couldn't see at all. This grass is so darn tall over here. Another spider hole right there. I don't like stepping on their houses. I'm stepping on a lot of people's houses probably. Alright, well, making our way back over here. Really peaceful area. If anything else, it's a peaceful place to rest. I'll give that much to this little spot here. It's a nice, it actually is like not like it just, yeah, I don't know, it just feels very peaceful. Like, you're just, you know, you got a small road here, probably doesn't get driven down too much. There's a larger road nearby, but I mean, overall, you got this giant space, and It's not doing anything to anyone. It's always good to have open fields. Plus, I guarantee you this thing right here is probably keeping this whole open space away from, you know, construction and whatnot. So, anyways, I think I'm gonna go ahead and close off this video. Hopefully this lavalier mic has done me well as the wind is starting to kick up again. And tomorrow I'm going to be going to the dig site. So go ahead and check that all out. Like, comment, subscribe. It's free. It helps me out a lot. And I'd really appreciate if you guys gave me some love and support in that direction. So anyways, I'll catch you on the flip. I'm going to dip.